And let's talk about community, because you've said something that really has amazed me, that you've never seen an Asian beggar.
When was the
Let's
last time?
discuss that.
When
How? Why?
was the last time
Why?
you saw an Asian beggar? You never. I mean, even if they are, I mean, there was a case that was, but they hide them and they take care of them. You know, I was at doing lunch on Sunday as well, and I remember I saw this autistic adult. He was maybe like 32. And so I saw him because a child was crying, and they're very emotional. They feel, they are feelers. And he brought the child where we were, because the parent was just sitting next to us. But I'm thinking, in an African context, that's a guy you take for takeaway, because you forget him in the SQ. You've hidden because of shame, decorum, slay queen things. You know, we have hidden them. But we need to own and have, like you're saying, the sense of community.
Because the Asians take care of their own.
They take care of their own. We will, even if you are the bang smoker of the year, you're in our business. You keep stealing from us. It's all right. You're our child. But we entrust you with Biashara Street things. You will sell the diapers. You imagine.
That's actually so amazing. And you know, even now, I don't know how, but now, like now, I was just even thinking of Nakumat, yeah? Because honestly, me, I'm a serious Nakumat customer.
I know, me and you, I feel
I am missing Nakumat. Honestly, Nakumat, I don't know what they're going to do. But I said one day, but the Asians, where are the Asians to build them out? Name it, I'm thinking, no, somebody's got, really nobody is able to build these guys out. Because I really miss Nakumat.
Yeah, I miss Nakumat.
I can shop anywhere else, but there's something. Because what is it? Yeah. But I love their things. I love the quality of the things. I love their store. It was like a shopping experience. Yes, yeah. So even in that, but my default setting was to think, if it's so sad to say, but if an African business fails us, we have to pray out down there. But this one Asian, I was like, where are the rest of the Asians? That was my first thought, because we know how much of a sense of community that they have,
and the sense of
bail each other out.
The sense of community comes from a family.
So, yes, it's a family thing, isn't it?
It's usually just a family that becomes a clan, that becomes a community. So it's really, a lot of those values are usually honed and created in family. Yeah, because one family creates a legacy that becomes, you know, there's a patriarch or a matriarch that passes it down, and it continues that way. A business and its legacy also comes down that way, and that's how these businesses that you're talking about right now also grow. My desire is that one day our children can grow and see, yes, what our parents do, the businesses that they run, that's what I want to do, or at least do what I do, even if it's different, like they did what they did. You know, the values that we demonstrate in what we do are the same ones that they run with. Yeah, because I look at, for instance, how my mom has run her civil service work in all the years of life that she has lived. I look at how my dad-in-law has worked, and how the kind of legacy that he's left behind. I look at my grandfather and also my late grandfather, and how they have demonstrated life both in ministry, in agriculture, and it's some of the values that I actually live and have learned. It is mostly from them. So it's largely really from family. Yeah, family influences business, it influences the culture, and also the kind of community, and also even the kind of influences also in terms of friendships, and in terms of career and the networks also that we end up building for our own lives.
And you know, the one thing that we know even as well, I know in another group we're doing with you guys, the Reformation Manifestation, is that when the enemy attacks, he attacks family.
Yeah.
And I think the state of Kenya as it is because of family. And what we have to do, the actual answer is, we've got to go back to family. Go back to what family was about, the concepts in family, the community in family. Once we get that right, and we get that social interaction, social engagement correct, even the way we're looking after our children, then everything else will fall into place. And believing in them, you know. You know, you can't be sending emails to your children, you know. I'll tell some people, that's how you know, did you arrive? What? Me, a phone call? Where
WhatsApp call?
WhatsApp call? When you get to the airport? Number 2, when you get home? Number 3? Well, for communication is constant.
Here and now.
Constantly. And I was even telling her the other day, because we had to sit down and have a conversation. Like, let's say, like now she goes out with her friends. Please, you don't go out with your friends and there's silence on the phone when I wake up. No. Hi, I got home. That's all I want. I just want a sentence, because what?
Exactly.
And that's a good culture to imbibe, you know. And it starts when they are growing. When they get married and they continue doing those kinds of things, it's not been intrusive. It's been okay. Yeah. I see now that when I travel, I like to just let my parents and my parents-in-law know that I've gone and left my family in peace and they're well. And when I come back, I announce my arrival. And you know, at times there'll be no response, at times there'll be a response, but it's not about the response. It's just, I think it's a good thing, you know. I like to check up on them. My wife has taught me to put a reminder so that I do it more often. And it's a good thing. It's really some of those things are really, really good to do with parents. But also, if our children grow up seeing that we do them with our parents,
they will do them to us. That's another thing people are forgetting. You see, because even I said, okay, now, I like to observe. So I was like, okay, so you've gone away, like back to my US thing. You're away, you live away, because maybe you want to be away from your parents, maybe, or maybe just wanted to make another life. But there's a consequence, for it. But the thing is, I even told some people, they were very shocked. Please expect the same from your children.
Exactly.
Do not expect different. Now you want to control your child? No. You went halfway across the world. Please give the children the same leeway. And then if you have not taught them how to look after their grandparents, they're going to look after you? Because you see, they're watching you. And we learn from, I love Bishop's great statement, Bishop T.D. Jakes, modeling. Everything has to be modeled.
Exactly.
You can talk to me, you can tell me, you can do everything, but you're modeling it. So you model, remember we talked about modeling the right behavior.
Exactly.
So you can talk all you want, you can have different values and you want different things, but you're modeling it. So don't expect me also to take care of you if you're showing me that you're not taking care of your own parents. So where am I supposed to learn that I'm supposed to look after you when the time gets there?
And even siblings.
Siblings. I don't joke with siblings
now that we got a second born, and it occurred to me someday, I was thinking, how will they learn how to treat each other? It won't be obvious and automatic. They won't learn to treat each other. They'll watch how we treat each other. That's number one. But then they'll also watch how we treat our own siblings. Because that's how we model. Our son is very inquisitive. So he'll ask, so your brother, how is he? Your sister, how is she? You know, those kinds of things. And if I say I don't know, or if I say, he'll ask questions because he's expecting. We can't be telling him, go check up on your sister, and because he'll come back and tell me, have you checked up on your sister? Which is a rude awakening, because then I'm thinking, have I checked up on my sister? So I must have a report and an accountability to my own son that yes, my sister is doing okay, my brother is doing okay. She must have the same about her brothers and her sisters, and mutually likewise, so that we are not trying to impose something that we can't live up to, so that they try and live up to that themselves. So
and finally, before we move on to the next one, I must say this is that I like going places because that's why we learn things. So I remember Reverend Teresia had a meeting, I think, and she invited Mike Murdoch. And I'm telling you, you know how you go into one meeting? I like to come into a meeting and take one takeaway, like I've got a takeout. Yani mine was profound. Mike Murdoch, I don't know where it is, he changed my life completely, even in how I treat my siblings. He said, let me tell you something. He says his father and his brother, they have anything they want as long as Mike Murdoch has. It's not about whether they've been good. He said, I'm not even going to give a backstory. There's no backstory. Like you were saying, like the Asians put you, it's not whether they are doing well or whether we've invested in them 5,000 times. He didn't say this now. This is me now for my expansion. It's not whether you've invested in your siblings 5,000 times and they've disappointed you. It's not about which lessons you've tried to teach them and they're not learning. He said his father and his siblings will never lack if he has. And it's something that changed my life, and I realized, okay, God has blessed me. I must bless my siblings.
That's true.
I don't want to know any stories. I don't want backstories. I don't start now the PowerPoint presentations. But you know,
even last year when I
even last year, because these people, they don't even work hard.
Which is so easy to do with family.
It's very easy. But the principle is, if God has blessed, and then as we went on, God kept expanding. That's the best thing. God expands things. He said, ask me, so what if it was the other way around? What if, like, let's say, what if you're the one who didn't have and they had? How do you want to be treated?
Exactly.
So this is very, very important. You have to know, how are you treating people? How are you carrying them? God has blessed you. So what is the big story now? He has blessed you and you have. So just go out of your way to bless your siblings in any way, whether it is spiritual, solical, financial, social, just because they're your siblings.
And actually, scripture actually points to that. You know, it tells us that it is a man is most blessed. A man is actually considered blessed by God if he fasts, blesses looks after his household and his family. His family meaning not just his immediate household, but also where what his homestead, you know, where he has come from and his entire family, extended family. So
there's actually a part of the Bible which calls them infidels, doesn't it? It says if you don't look after your brother, you're an infidel. I mean, that word is even in the Bible. There's something very wrong with you, because even when I look at Muslims, you see, when I look at that's how they just love each other and they just help each other, and we just get this thing done. You know, I was even shocked the other day. I had people even buy buildings. You know, money comes from different places. I think even in Israel, even the Jews, that we were seeing plagues near the Wailing Wall, and the plague has somebody's name. And they were saying it's so amazing that people send money and there's no record. You know, us casinos, I think we've become like that. Waithera Ali, you know, with an amount. There's no record, there's no amount. They just, when there's a problem, wherever the Jews are all over the world, they just send the money. And actually it was our tour guide who was telling us how the money is actually used. It's actually used for its purpose. So people are supposed to do stuff. I mean, that's what we should do. Even when I hear when the Muslim community, and even sometimes they say Somalis, when they're buying something, hey, no, there's no record. This family brought 10,000. You just, everybody sends it and we
contribute,
support.
and that's it.
And that's it. Our goal was to buy this, done. Our goal is to support this one, it's done. There's no many stories of, oh, even me, I gave 240, you gave 50, Jimmy, I gave 100.
You owe us.
It's everybody just gives and we move on. And we need to get into that, because even it brings me even into when we went to a kibbutz. I was like, you know what? We need to do this. A sense of community, a sense of living together and sharing what we have and just being a family. And stop counting who has and who doesn't have and who didn't do. And
can you imagine how shameful it is when you go for family gatherings? You come with your Mercedes Benz, and your children are shining, they look hot and beautiful. Then your brother comes with his kids, pararad, clothes torn. I mean, so how are you helping?
I even hear some people even, and this one I want people to be doing, that even at some people, even at a family gathering, you can leave others, you forget they don't even have a car. You know, and you know how, like, even here, I don't like, you must drop people home. Where are you going? Take them where they're supposed to be going. You don't just drive off in a cloud of dust that you are off, you know? Have you thought how are they getting home? No. If you can't drive them home, send them by Uber. Afford everybody dignity.
Some means,
Hey, anyway, that has been an amazing conversation.
Nice to vent.
That was to flow in the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. So, but the conclusion is that we need to come back to a sense of community and family. But the story that brought us here today, hallelujah, fulfillment of prophetic word. Hallelujah. Where do we begin?
I'll be here interceding.
There's nothing like that. You are the chief contributor. We should start with start with how we have to bring the story of the town. That name, we have to bring it in. But tell me, how do your life in terms of marriage and dating and purpose and coming together, take me on a journey.
Ooh, which year is this? We are now in 2017. I think we've known each other for like more than 15 years almost.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
15 years.
It's been a while. It's been a while. So, babe
is good. Babe is doing good. Babe is good.
Babe, Waithera and I share.
Babe and I.
Waithera and I share a long past because we share quite a lot in terms of especially purpose, a connection to a lot of things that we find we like, and we draw a lot of interest in. So in 2006, 2007, we met someday at Fungamano. I think we had met before. Before that, we had met once or twice in Christian circles, in church events here and there, but in weddings and just circles. She had friends in Desta, I had friends in Daystar as well. So
I studied at Daystar.
Well, you don't have to say that. You don't.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Why? Daystar is a very good university. Why are you saying you know?
Moving on swiftly. Well, early last century, we had met in some of those spaces, but what we remember vividly, both of us, is that around 2007, early, we met at Tufungamano House. And
what was happening at Tufungamano House?
So here is what was happening.
I might go to Tufungamano House because let me out to meet somebody. So I had lunch at Tufungamano House. What's happening at Tufungamano House?
Yeah.
So I was working at I Choose Life Africa at the time, and every Friday evening there used to be a Christian fellowship called the Journey.
Oh,
yeah, the Journey was a campus, like a campus outreach church that Waithera was a part of. So she would come every evening. I think I'd seen her once or twice, and I was struck by this Nubian princess, and I used to think, oh my God, who is that? So this one day I gathered up boldness.
Amen.
And
Hallelujah.
I said, faint heart never won a fair lady.
Amen. I like that. I faint heart never won a
fair lady. So I said, I'm gonna have to say hi. So yeah, just
A for effort.
I tell you, there's a cafeteria downstairs at Fungamano. So I timed her when she was leaving, just so that we bump into each other. And I was like, boom, boom, boom.
So strategy is key in dating.
Yes.
Number one.
Strategy is key.
And sure you bump into each other.
Boldness. Hallelujah.
Yeah, good. So we bumped into each other strategically. And I mean, really, by the way, I'm not kidding. She has that sparkle in her eye.
She does.
She had a sparkle in her eye.
Woo!
And it malizared me, like wow. Like I mean I don't kid, I'm not kidding. I looked at her once and I did the mukwad, like I was like Jesus
Christ.
Hey, Father God.
Yeah?
Keep talking.
So anyway, she was busy, or pretended to be, because she was going to host that campus trend.
Yeah, young lives were at young lives matter.
Yeah, but at the same event, I was having a group of boys who had brought to dance. So at the event, so both of us had a role that evening. So so we kind of discussed how that event was going to be, and she was at the time living at the YMCA. So the event took long, but it was nice because it had a movie night, it had what she was hosting. So I think at around 11 p.m. I walked her to the YMCA.
And the starry stars.
You know, I can imagine. They were star university.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
We changed we
exchanged
numbers, and I went to my 1-bedroom cubicle in Buruburu.
One bedroom. We all started in those places.
Yes.
We must start somewhere.
Yeah. And I ensured all the boys were dropped home in this Voxy that we'd hired, and I was the last to be dropped home.
Good leadership.
Yeah. So along the way, we were just chatting with her.
You were really started chatting?
Yes.
Because it was the era of mobiles.
No,
it was the era of mobiles. There were no mobiles.
We were chatting
you had to be standing outside a call box. You're just laughing, Shari.
We were chatting
outside a call box, and I don't know what time. Or you gave a date 3 months. Guys went to boarding school. Mutakutana. Yes. At Nairobi Cinema outside. Yeah. Shari, you were very blessed to have mobile.
But it wasn't WhatsApp or we were chatting on some.
Thank God for Safaricom and offers. They've been done a long time.
Yeah, so we're chatting on text. So on a feature phone, Nokia 3310. Yeah, but anyway, it was really nice just to begin to know her, and so we started knowing her, introducing each other to each other's life. Interestingly, my best friend was her schoolmate, whom she knew also from Daystar, and so a lot of what was my life, she quickly began to know. A lot of what was her life, I quickly also began to know. And we just introduced each other to each other's lives. Began dating. Our dating was going to Eric Wainaina, Cheesy, basically live music, just doing a lot of kidum and just a lot of live music together. She used to like to dance. I used to like plays.
Used to use the word, Father God. So thank you for this session. Because
you have to activate.
It's activity.
You used to like music and you like
dancing.
I used to like plays.
So you have to take your wife out dancing,
to
listen to music, and the hear that is coming out. Hallelujah. And
a
plays.
friend
Have
of
you watched a play recently?
No.
To watch a play.
Yeah. So we're not into movies as much. We find them not personal. So live music and plays. Because there's interaction and comedy. So so we used to, whatever was happening, you know, whether it's local or international, so we'd like to really go into a lot of those. And talking about Christian dating, since we were Christian, we tried to really apply principles of Christian dating.
Tried is not a good word, but anyway, tried is here.
Because we are saved, hormones are not saved.
Hormones are not saved. That is very important. Third lesson of dating, hormones are not saved.
Hormones are not saved. I am a cold-blooded male mammal.
Warm-blooded.
Sorry,
warm-blooded male mammal. And she too is.
So hormones were on the loose.
Yes.
And I think it's activated when you're a Christian. Because the devil works hard.
Yes.
Because
to make you fall.
You can't.
And then we're both at points of leadership. At church.
So people are looking at you, they are role models, the people around you. So I think it is hard. That's why I always say, please, this whatever 5 years of dating, whatever, you will fall into sin, please. And I don't know how they say fall, but anyway, sin shall abound. It shall come to your door. Finish quickly, and you see even posted. If the body is not going to allow, the hormones are not to allow, please get married quickly. We finish that story out of the way. So tried is a good word. So I guess better tried how. So I don't know.
Our house, we tried. We tried by trying to be outdoor more than indoor.
Yes.
Trying to be outdoor.
But it's a very important point. Which number are we on? Number 5 or 4 in terms of dating. Please meet in public places.
So and I mean, Arboretum was a really cool place for us, because even in the cornermost of corners in Arboretum, someone would pass.
Or someone is praying.
Someone is praying.
Praying is very good. I like that one.
Hey,
that's not Jesus. I like that. Wait. All hormones are like. Let me laugh. All hormones are like. I said to God, it's Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law that you go to try to steal in Arboretum, Goja. You find the one who's Rabashaka is there, you will know. It is for repentance, cry
and tears.
And then
and realigning.
When then are you finished?
And then, but an interesting twist to that is, because we're also a prayerful couple, interestingly, when we pray, it's like you charge yourselves up physically.
I told you.
Yeah, prayer also does, like, you want to wind the prayer session up with the BB, like you start with the spirit, then with the soul, then like
pray corporately. Pray with the people.
So it's so interesting. Like you pray when you pray in private, the spirit connects. Then you hold hands, the soul connects.
Do you remember we had one mentor? There's a mentor I think who told us. Let me tell you, when you hold Waithera's hand and I hold Waithera's hand, it's not the same.
It's different.
It's very much.
It's very different.
It's true. So you always have to remember that also physically.
Exactly.
It is not just the normal touch. It's not just a normal look.
Very different.
There's a lot of intimacy and a lot of connection behind it.
So even in fortunately, I did not live alone. I've always mentored people, so I was living with two young guys that I used to mentor. I was sharing a house with them, so there was always someone. There was always a third person. So a third person principle, if we are to call it that way, always ensure there's like a third person principle. So that always keeps a guard, so such that even when she would visit, because she would definitely visit, there was a check, there was a check. We don't want to, yes, we would be watching a movie in the living room, but the third person also has is living there. So in essence,
I'm still the guest.
In essence, yeah, you know,
and then there's also then maybe
principle.
certain boundaries you cannot cross.
Yeah.
But I think also in all this, just like in life, you really need to know yourself.
Yeah.
And if you know that the temptation can surpass you, then don't do it. You know, and just don't meet at home. Don't meet in places where the temptation can overcome you.
Yeah.
Yeah.